Hello there and welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing a video that's a little bit different. I do think it relates to business in a lot of ways, but it's specifically about meditation and how I chose to do a 40-day meditation challenge with myself. And so I just want to document this process for you guys in case you're interested in meditation, in case you just want to see my journey with it. And here we go. So I've completed the first 10 days, and what I really want to do here is just document what I'm feeling and how it went after the first 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, and then 40 days. So there'll be 4 check-ins during this process. And I don't want to commit to anything after the 40 days, but I guess we'll see how this challenge goes to see if I want to do another video afterwards or if I want to keep meditating. But right now, I just want to commit to the 40 days. And so at this point in the process, I have finished the first 10 days, and I'll just go over, why I started this challenge, what I'm focusing on in my meditations, my approach, my daily practice, and then just how I've been feeling over the last 10 days since starting this meditation journey. Yeah, I hope that this experience helps you decide what you want to do. And just to notate, this is my experience. It doesn't mean it's going to be everybody's experience. And these are just my thoughts and reflections here. Okay, so I did a 40-day meditation challenge just because there was a lot going on emotionally for me, and I was trying to make some decisions, trying to decide some things I should do. And instead of just going ahead and doing them, I just made a decision like, hey, let me meditate for 40 days and make sure this is a decision that I want to make sure that I'm really good with myself. And so that just kind of prompted me to come here and do a meditation challenge. So my background with meditation is it's something that I've been doing on and off since 2021. So it's been about 3 years now. It's never been a practice that I have done every single day. There's been periods of time where I've been really consistent with it for like a month or so, but then I kind of fall back into like, oh, now things are going good and I don't need to meditate. And so I kind of stop and start and stop and start. And sometimes it's less consistent than that. And I just do it when it's convenient. I do it if I'm on a call and people are like, okay, let's meditate. But I really want this to be something that I stick with this time and that it's just a part of my daily routine, regardless if things are going well, if things are going bad, because I do think that it's so helpful in a lot of ways. And in the past, I really have seen results with it. So some of the results I've seen in the past is, meditating on a specific purpose, like gaining more clients in my business. I am able to do that, or just getting into a better headspace. And I think that's why I quit so often is I'm meditating because things are hard and then things get better and I quit. Where I want it to be more consistent than that. So consistency is really important to me. And so I think 40 days is going to be really good. And then putting it on YouTube, I think is going to make me really accountable to following through with the process because I'm going to be documenting it and really using it as an experiment. I don't know if I'm looking for necessarily tangible results in this process. The things I'm meditating on, which I'll share in the next slide, don't necessarily, it's not a, oh, this can happen and then it's done. Like, I think that they're both like a real process to happen. So I think what I want to achieve is just inner peace with my decisions around these things. And, being able to kind of surrender control in areas I don't have control in my life. I'll just go into what I am trying to meditate on. So the meditation I'm doing, which I'll share in the next slide, I'll move the picture. There's 2 things. So you meditate on 2 different things. And so the first one, I'm not going to go too in depth about because it doesn't just involve me, but really focusing on forgiveness, love, reconciliation, in like particular relationships, but I think all relationships, right? And I think just for myself too. So that's really important to me. And I think I'll find a lot of peace in this process. So again, it's not necessarily something, there is an end goal for me with this, and there would be something that would show me tangible progress. But I think over these next 40 days, what I'm really looking for is just having those emotions be a part of my life, rather than resentment and anger and bitterness. So that's the first thing I'm focusing on. And then the second thing is a specific financial goal that I'm trying to achieve, that I've been trying to achieve. So really focusing on abundance, connections. Having the right connections means a lot in business and just prosperity, and that I make the right business decisions. So again, I will see a tangible result with this, like if I hit that financial goal I'm aiming for. However, I think there's also a lot of things that happen along the way of like, hey, all my clients are feeling really good. Work is feeling really, I don't want to say easy, but easeful. So obviously there's going to be challenges with work, but just it's flowing really nicely. I have really meaningful connections and just doors are opening. So I think with both of these, again, I don't think that I'm going to hit that specific outcome in the 40 days. If I do, that's great and that's a bonus. But what I'm really looking for is just that change internally and that trust for myself. And yeah, being able to live in these good emotions more. Okay, so what meditation I'm using is Dr. Joe Dispenza's Tuning into New Potentials meditation. You guys could look this up online. I'm using this specific meditation because I just want to open more doors, like I said, to these new emotions, to more financial prosperity. And I really like the flow of this meditation. You start off and kind of start off with disconnecting, and he prompts you in certain ways. And then he asks about that first new potential that you want to call in and how you would feel if it happened, who you're being in the process to make it happen, etc. And then it goes on to the second one and then kind of closes it out. So it's perfect for the things that I'm aiming for right now. And I think that it's a perfect time. It's 45 minutes, so it's not something that's super short that I can like kind of do. It's something that does take a while, but I feel like 45 minutes is something that I could definitely fit in my day. And it's kind of one of his shorter meditations. So again, wanting to start off with something that I know I can be consistent with versus something that feels super overwhelming, like a 2-hour meditation each day. So 45 minutes in this meditation is exactly what I'm using every single day in this process. Okay, so now we're on to the fun part. What has changed for me over the past 10 days? What have I noticed? Okay, so I think it's one of those things, kind of like if you are changing your diet at all or doing a juice cleanse or something like that, where I feel like there's all these benefits associated with meditation, and yet I think you have to go through like a cleansing period first. So for me, what I've noticed is there's a lot of processing and like increased thoughts for me, because when you are meditating, the goal is to like get into your subconscious. So it hasn't necessarily been what I anticipated, where I'd have more focus, where I'd like be more concentrated on what I'm doing. It's actually done the opposite in these first 10 days. And I'll be really curious to see if this continues after the 10 days or if this was just kind of the hard part of it. But what I kind of notice is I've just been thinking a lot more about things, and more things are kind of coming up for me, whether that be when I'm just sitting down or when I'm sleeping. Like I've been having really vivid dreams too, that kind of have to do with these topics that I'm meditating on. So it's been really interesting. But I think a pro in that is I've had so much creative energy too, and just have thought so much about videos I want to create on YouTube and things I want to share and how I want to encourage and inspire people and just content I want to put out in the world. So that's been really interesting, because not that I felt creatively blocked, but I didn't really anticipate coming back to YouTube while I was working so hard on client work, but it's just been something that I've been so called to do. And I think the interesting thing is for my first like 80 some videos, I had like 30 followers. And that was fine with me, because I know that YouTube is a long-term game. But in the last 30 days, so before I started meditating, but like for some reason my channels got increased followers. So if you're one of them, then thank you so much for landing on my page. It's been super random because it happened when I wasn't posting. So I think that's given me a little bit of motivation to keep posting, but also I have like notes and notes in my journal about things I want to post about, and even things that I thought that I wouldn't talk about on YouTube. Like, I'm kind of coming around to the side of like, hey, I do want to talk about this and raise awareness and really just share my journey. So that's been a huge development for me, especially over the last 10 days. And then yeah, like I said, I don't think I've been more focused. I don't think I've been able to concentrate better. In fact, last week was my lowest hours in work for the month of July, which is kind of surprising because other weeks in July, I feel like were harder. I feel like could have worked less and justified it, but for some reason, like when I started meditating, it changed things for me. And so what I'm hypothesizing is just like a dip and then it's going to increase exponentially, but we'll see in my next updates. Okay. So here's kind of the things I'm learning and what I'm calling myself out on of, how this process is working. So integrating goals into daily thoughts and actions. So it can be really easy when you're meditating to be in that really good heart space of all these good feelings and all these good energy. And then what I've noticed is throughout the day, these things I'm meditating on and these emotions I'm feeling totally turn. So it's like in the meditation, I'm ready for these things to come to me, but then I go throughout my day and I feel anger again, or I feel like I want to make a choice that doesn't align with these values that I'm meditating on. And so I do think that it's interesting that I'm catching it now. I probably didn't catch it and wasn't as aware of it before, but it totally makes sense why these things aren't in my life already, because yeah, I can meditate for 45 minutes and even maybe hold those thoughts for another 15. So 1 hour out of the 24, like I'm in a good space. And then you take the other, 15 waking hours. And if I'm not holding that thought consistently, like no wonder it's not coming into my life. So that's one thing I'm going to be working on over the next 10 days is really trying to hold those thoughts and actions throughout the rest of my day. And that's not to say that I never do. Like there's days where I definitely feel like I do a lot better, but I have noticed that there's days that this is not happening at all. So I think that meditation isn't just when you're meditating. I think it's continuously, it's all the time. All right, another thing that Dr. Joe Dispenza says at the end of his meditation is living as if your prayers are already answered. So again, this is not a new concept to me because I've heard it, but living it out, I feel like is a new concept. So a lot of times it's like, oh, I haven't hit that financial goal, or, oh, like this thing that I want to happen hasn't happened. And once it happens, I'll feel this way. Or once this thing appears, then I'll be happy. Where it kind of is the opposite. You have to hold those emotions and act as if what you are aiming for has already happened in your life and live as if it has. And that's something that I do have a hard time doing and I'm really working on is I'll feel kind of these depressed emotions or whatnot because these things haven't happened in my life. But if I'm living as if they had already happened, I wouldn't have those feelings. So that's something that I'm definitely working on in this journey. And I think it's definitely a shift in perspective that you don't hear of often. It's like you get the thing or you have the experience and then you feel the emotions. But really with meditation, it's about feeling the emotions first, feeling the gratitude for it first, and then seeing it happen in your life. So those are two things I'm working on. And some surprising things that have happened is I think that the thing I was most nervous about going into this challenge was just finding the time to meditate. Like I was so worried that I just wouldn't be able to find the time. And that has not been an issue at all. So that's been really cool. Like I just get up and I know that I'm going to meditate. And there has been I think only 1 or 2 days where I have calls like kind of right away. And so I'll meditate after. But the other days, it's like, okay, I know I'm going to get up and then I know I'm going to meditate. So it really has been a non issue. And then the days where I do have meetings first, what I'll do is I'll just do the meetings and then go right into the meditation. So it hasn't been challenging. Of course, that's my experience with it. I also work from home, so I can kind of make my own hours a lot of the time. So I know I'm very blessed in being able to do that. But I think 45 minutes, even though it seems like a lot, like there's so many things that you can kind of cut out and replace with these 45 minutes. And I think that it's so worth it because you really focus on what matters. So yeah, it's just, I thought that was going to be a really big challenge, but I think the most challenging thing for me has just been the thoughts that are coming up and just processing everything. And I am speculating that the first 10 days are going to be the most challenging out of this whole process. I'm really happy that I made it through them and I'm really excited to keep going. But yeah, I think there's a lot of just deep inner work that's happening. And maybe that'll be the first 40 days or first 100 days. Like, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to document this process for you and let you know when I start seeing kind of more of those benefits happening. And then I didn't put a slide in here for this, but just wanted to tell you guys, like, at this point in time, like I haven't seen any tangible benefits. However, I will say like it's almost gone the opposite way. So one of the goals that I have that I'm meditating on, I've almost seen signs that it is further away than when I first started in these 10 days. And so that's been really interesting just to see like maybe it feels further away because it's making room for the right things to appear for this goal to be achieved. But yeah, I would say even if that happens, don't give up because looking back on my life, there's a lot of times where it's like, oh, why is this leaving my life? But it really does make room for the right thing. So I'm just trusting the process. And like I said, I'll be updating you guys on the next 30 days and how that goes. And so yeah, just looking ahead over the next 10 days, I'm really curious to see if my concentration is going to get any better, if my focus gets any better. And yeah, to see if I start seeing any either tangible results or emotional results of me feeling differently around these topics and just feeling better. So anyway, that's my experience with the first 10 days of my 40-day meditation challenge. Let me know if you do your own 40-day meditation challenge and how you're feeling and what's coming up for you. I'm really, really curious to see if it is more of a universal experience or if my experience is different. But I'm really excited to take you along this process and just show you what it's like and see if it transforms my business as well as my personal life, just sticking with the meditations and being really conscious of my actions and what I'm doing each day. So thanks so much for watching. Please like this video if you want to see more like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more videos on business, personal life, health, etc. So thanks so much and see you in the next video.